I have seen the disagreement between Victor Nyaata and Cyprian Soro, and there seems to be no conclusion on how these two ended their relationship and how they formed Mkisii, how they operated Mkisii, how Mkisii came to an end, and how Victor Nyaata probably swindled Osoro, or how Osoro got disadvantaged in the deal. But now, as men who had a business, who had an agreement, and then you parted ways, and each of you has a talent, how should you handle this? Osoro has a talent. Nyaata has a talent. Now you have split. Why can't each of you focus on their talents? Now, I don't want to focus on the disagreement between these two, but I want to look at some cases and how men handled some of the things that they had, and how these two can handle some of the issues that they have. Okay? Now, I'm starting with the issue of Eric Wokabi and Ibrahim Toloi. Although it's a very simple thing, a YouTube channel. A YouTube channel, which seems to be a very simple thing that a lot of Kenyans don't understand. You may feel that a YouTube channel is something very small, but it can lead to very big disagreements. For example, this is what went down, by the way, in the issue of Eric Wokabi and Ibrahim Toloi. Now, Eric Wokabi brought automotive content. He understood how cars operated. He understands the car market. He knows how to analyze cars, and he can tell you which car is good and which car is bad. So he had rich content about cars, and he came with that content. Now, but he did not have cameras, right? He did not have the knowledge on production of this content. He had the content, he had very rich vocabulary, he had very good grammar. I used to listen to him all the time. Rich vocabulary, good grammar, confidence in front of the camera. He's a very good speaker, but he doesn't know how to operate a camera. He does not know how to run things. He does not know how to edit videos probably, and how to upload videos. And so what does he do? He looks for a guy called Ibrahim Toloi. Now, Ibrahim Toloi is probably a tech guy. I don't know his background, but he has very good knowledge on how to shoot videos, on how to edit videos, on how to upload videos, on how maybe to market videos. Probably that is what I understood from the beef between the two. And so what did they do? They merged together Eric Wokabi and Ibrahim Toloi, and so they started working together. Now, when they find content, Eric Wokabi prepares on how to present that content, and Ibrahim Toloi prepares on how to shoot the content, and they worked very well. Now, this is where the problem comes. The problem comes when it comes to money. I have told you that a YouTube channel has money. Leave alone those people who are saying that views in Kenya don't pay. Don't listen to those people. I have a YouTube channel, and I know a YouTube channel has a lot of money, and a money that can lead to disagreement. And so when money became, although they did not reveal the issue that led to the breakup, I don't want to make conclusions. Eric Wokabi and Ibrahim Toloi did not reveal the exact reason why they broke up, but we all can see that it is because of this revenue and how they separated probably the economics of running conversations, right? And so when it reached a point where probably one party felt like I am not benefiting a lot from this, that was the start of their disagreements. For example, Eric Wokabi would have felt that I present this content in a very good way. I have talent of speaking. My vocabulary is very good. My grammar is very good. I know how to review cars and move around. My confidence on camera is very good. But this guy is paying me very little money when he gets it. And Ibrahim Toloi feels like I'm the one behind the camera. I spend sleepless nights editing this content. I work so hard. I repair these machines. You know, when they are damaged, I am the one in charge of how ensuring that they run smoothly. And so I deserve more money. And so you find that these two people cannot agree on splitting the revenue. And so what happens? They split. They split because that each party feels like they are contributing a lot to this thing, right? And before I move to another case, I want to connect the case of Eric Wokabi and Ibrahim Toloi to Victor Nyaata and Cyprian Soro. Now, Victor Nyaata and Cyprian Soro, each of them believed that they were contributing effectively to running Mkisii. That is what I believe. From what I have seen, Victor Nyaata is still running it, but under another name, and Cyprian Soro is lamenting that this new company is being marketed under Mkisii. So you can see that each party feels like they contributed a lot to this thing. Now, what should have happened? How did conversations handle this thing? And then it went quiet. What Eric Wokabi did, he walked away. And Ibrahim Toloi was wondering what happened. And then he also felt like he should just remain like that. And the two split. Now, ever since they split, I have never followed them. By the way, I tried to follow Eric Wakabi. I remained with Ibrahim Toloi. Then they became inconsistent. Then I lost them. You can't blame me because it is the algorithm that works like that. That when a person starts becoming inconsistent on YouTube, you find that their videos are not recommended a lot to you and the algorithm throws them out. So that is the reason why you find that these two people, they got lost from my eyes and I could not now locate them. But now I understand that after their breakup, their business suffered, but each party moved away. So you can see the disadvantage of moving away. When you move away from each other and you used to complement each other very well, you find that your business suffers. Now back to the case of Cyprian Soro and Victor Nyaata. Now Cyprian Soro went to the United States. Okay, after the split, we did not know about the split because it was quiet. Osoro goes to the United States. Victor remains here. Now what should they do? Should Mkisii fall? No, because Mkisii is a big thing that was created for Wakisii. And so what should have happened? This Mkisii should continue. And who should continue running it? The person who felt like they are running it well should continue running it. I'm not supporting one person, but I'm looking at one person who should be running it very well. Now, what does Victor Nyaata do? Victor Nyaata says, let me create another thing like Mkisii. And what should I do? Let me continue with it. And then we see Mkisii is still going on. Now, what does Osoro do? He complains. Complains that I created that thing with you. Now you are running it alone and I am alone. You see, I'm not taking sides. I'm not taking sides in this video. But all I'm saying is that once people split, people should go their separate ways and each of them should focus on their own thing. Like, for example, the case of conversations. Each of them focused on their own things. But I don't believe each of them was competent independently. These people used to complement each other well. Now, for the case of Mkisii event, although I had some people complain, like Patrick, this car salesman, complain, it was successful. Based on what so many people said, this thing became very successful. That means that we can give credit to Victor Nyaata for still waking it up and running it in the absence of Osoro. Now, what does Osoro do? Osoro does not run a complementary or an alternative Mkisii. Instead, he is complaining. Now, Victor Nyaata is still running this thing, but Osoro is complaining. Now, before I move to another case, can you see a problem there? Can you see a problem there? That two people have separated because of a company, right? And one person remains. Another person moves out. Now, this person who remains still is running it. Now, the person who moves out is complaining that they were sabotaged by a person who is continuing to run it. I've not said that I know exactly the reason why they split. Even Osoro himself said that he cannot speak a lot right now. And so we treat whatever made them split as unknown. However, what we can see is that one party is already running this thing and another party is not running this thing. But we have a lot of people who are insulting a person who is still running it. I'm confused. I heard somebody call Victor Nyaata a black man with a black heart. Black man with a black heart. And I'm a black man. So if I have a black heart, it means somebody will just come and say, I'm a black man with a black heart. Hey, you people can have some insults. Okay, now, Victor is running it, Osoro is out. Let me look for another case that should have helped to handle this thing. Probably we see how these two should have handled their issue. I'm talking about the issue of Eonini. Eonini, Mwafrika and Rapture. Now, Mwafrika created Eonini. I don't know if Rapture contributed to creating it, but I knew Rapture through Eonini. By the way, I have never heard of Rapture in any other place. Maybe they say he used to be a comedian long time ago, but I don't know. But I started hearing about him in the Eonini podcast, and I found him to be funny with his raya remarks. And then these people reached a point where they disagreed over Calligraph Jones. You know the entire story, how it went. Now, when these two men disagreed, what did they do? Did Rapture go and start sitting there saying that I am not in a very good place emotionally because Eonini has treated me badly? No. Rapture gets out of Eonini and creates another podcast, right? And Muaf remains and continues running Eonini. And you find that now we have 2 podcasts. Now, beef between 2 people has created 2 podcasts. 2 podcasts that we follow. People who loved Rapture and people who love Muaf can now have rich content. They don't have a gap now. They have rich content. Why? Because 2 people who disagreed and people who felt like they can handle their issues well, they went their separate ways and each of them became productive. Rapture became productive, Eonini is productive, and they are continuing with it, right? And now we watch all of them. Of course, Rapture started his podcast late. It is still picking up very well. Eonini has been there for many years, and YouTube rewards consistency, and it has a snowball effect of rewarding more and more content generation. So we believe that Rapture will reach there if he continues being consistent. And that brings me now back to the case of Victor Nyaata and Cyprian Soro. Now, how should they have handled their disagreements in the light of Rapture and Muaf? Osoro should have gone a separate way and said, because you are against me or because you don't want me to progress, I can chart my own path. For example, he said that he got brand deals and Victor Nyaata was against them. Now, if these brand deals are looking for you and they are not looking for Victor Nyaata, and you are the most important person there that they have selected you, why should you seek the permission of Victor Nyaata? Why can't you simply split? Maybe you had an agreement. I know some of those binding agreements that people have. But we have many brand deals because according to Osoro's statement, we had many brand deals that were looking for him and they did not want Victor Nyaata. And so if you have many brand deals looking for you, it means there is more money. And so if we have a binding agreement, you can simply go, these clients will pay you, you will pay this guy or compensate him, and then you end that agreement and you continue. Why did you have to abandon all those very important things and then you are coming back to blame Victor Nyaata? I'm not getting the logic. And by saying this, it does not mean that I'm supporting Victor Nyaata. We don't know what Victor Nyaata did. Probably Victor Nyaata had a problem that we have to look at also. But the problem of Victor Nyaata, I cannot visualize it at the moment because when they disagreed, he went on with the thing. But when they disagreed, Osoro went to the United States. That is a person going to the United States. We believe they have gone to do something very important. Now you go there and you are still complaining that Victor Nyaata treated you this and this way, that you are not in a very good place emotionally in a developed country, in a superpower, bro. No, Cyprian, come on. You are now in a place of opportunities. You are in a land of opportunities, a land of dreams. Can you please, bro, just chart your own path? Just like Eric Wakabi did and walked away from Ibrahim Toloi, and Ibrahim Toloi said, no, he has moved away from me. No, let me do my own thing. And each of them started doing their own thing. Just like Rapture walked away from Eonini. And Muaf said, oh, Rapture has gone away. We were great friends. I can continue with my thing. Let him continue with his thing. And so many other people have just provided the example of 2. Osoro, just do your own thing without speaking. I hear you saying that there is a time it will come, you will speak. What will you speak, bro? What will you speak? I'm not against you, but what do you want to speak? Bro, get down to business and do your own thing. Let Victor Nyaata do his own thing. Dissolve Mkisii. Let Victor run his own new company. Run your own new company. If brands were looking for you, it means you are very talented. From your description, it shows that you are a very talented person. Brand deals can see you and then say, this is a very good person. We can work with this person. And so why can't you contact those brands and work with them? But if you are in the US, I know there's a lot of money in the US. The spending power is so high. So money from Kenya may not be much. Why can't you do something else very important there? Bro, don't blame Nyaata. Let Nyaata do his own thing. But we don't know what Nyaata did, so I cannot make conclusions on what happened. But men, when things are not working, walk away from each other. Let each party handle their own things separately. Just like Eric Wakabi and Ibrahim Toloi, Rapture and Muaf, Nyaata walk away, Osoro walk away. And I will end this video by a guy who told me to come to YouTube, and then he said that, resume your YouTube channel, I have equipment. Gidi, I will help you to shoot your YouTube videos. Then I said no. Because I understand some of these things. And he had a very valid point because he knows that I can speak. Bro, I know I can speak continuously. I can rant. You can hear me talk on this channel. I can talk and talk and talk and rant. Ideas are just flowing in my head, right? And so he recognizes that I can speak and present ideas and analyze things well. And he has equipment, he has cameras, he knows about lighting, he knows editing, you know. Now, he told me that, Gidi, I can be shooting you and then you can be just presenting as I shoot videos and then I will upload them. I said, no, we cannot operate like that. It will reach a point where you will start saying that I'm benefiting more from this. So let me just do this thing on my own. And my problem is not just about disagreements. My problem is about work ethic. You know, I'm a guy who likes working hard. I know myself. I work hard. Bro, I know I work hard. And so my work ethic may not be like your work ethic. I can produce 3, 4, 5 videos per day, but then your editing becomes lazy. You start editing maybe 1 video per day, then you start becoming lazier. And then we will disagree on that. And I don't like lazy people, by the way. And then when I tell you or I confront you concerning your laziness, you will tell me that, oh, Gidi is very harsh. You know, Gidi does not want a person to work on their own free time. No, I have a problem with work ethic. And you know, a lot of people out here, they are not very hardworking. By the way, you should know that. A lot of people are not risk takers because when you take risks, you face a lot of problems. Like when I say I was auctioned because I am a risk taker. I took millions, went and deposited vehicles, bought them, then I started running. COVID-19 is here, you know, now it's doing, and then I was auctioned because I know how to take risks. Now, are you a risk taker like me or you are risk averse? Now you can imagine a person like me. I have decided that I want to give YouTube my all. I have left a career behind. That is not easy, bro. Leaving a career behind and then giving YouTube your all is not a simple decision to make. There are people who keep telling me, oh, you need a permanent and pensionable job. You know, those are now risk-averse people. We don't want to take risks. We don't want to take risks. Now, you can imagine a risk taker working with a risk-averse individual. It cannot work. Writing, I gave it my all. It is just AI that threw me out. When I started these other businesses, taxi businesses, the transport business, the clothing business, I gave it my all. Were it not for theft from employees and other things that happened because of my ignorance, of course, I should not have encountered whatever I encountered. But now I'm here, okay? And I'm still doing other things that I'm giving them my all. Now, I don't know if there's any other person out there that has decided that I want to give this thing my all. That is why I looked for another guy. I told him we can do a podcast together. And he tells me, you know, you need to have another job, you know, and start testing that podcast. If it starts paying well, then we can now. Then I told him, just stop it. Stop it. Because that is why I did not share with him the revenue. Because if I just tell him how much in 28 days I've earned from this channel, he will run here very fast. You see? So there are differences in work ethic, there are differences in talent, there are differences in visions, there are differences in the outcomes of life, and you cannot easily find a person to work with. My recommendation is that if you have a vision and you can pursue it alone, of course with the help of other people, but you can focus on it alone, please do it. Because you will disagree with a lot of people along the way. When you disagree with them, just discard the one you have disagreed with and focus on your goal. But if you are two and you disagree, it is going to affect your progress very badly. Just like in marriage, if you are two focusing on taking care of children and you disagree, it has distorted the family, okay? So if you have a business, if you have a vision, go for it alone and don't focus on other people, because other people may not have your vision, may not have the risk tolerance that you have, and may not have the zeal to follow the goal the way you want to follow it. Thank you for listening to me. This is Gidi Akali, and we shall meet again in another video, and I am out.